What's up, everybody? Welcome to RetroGameCrunch. And this week we're going to talk a little bit about what I'm looking forward to most at Siege 2025, as well as some recent games that I picked up and added to my collection over the last couple of weeks. So let's jump into it. So Siege 2025 is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday down in Greenville, South Carolina. Hope you guys have plans to make it if you're able to. And if you see me, make sure you stop and say hello. So let's jump into this video and discuss who I want to meet, as well as what I want to pick up at Siege 2025. So obviously, with this being one of the largest video game conventions in the Southeast Game Exchange has already announced their lineup of content creators and other guest appearances from people you may know. So I've got a list of some people that I really want to meet and talk a little bit more about their video game collection, video games, and their content creation journey. People like Rick from Retro Rick, Caleb from Phoenix Resale, Sam from Rad Junk, Riff from Pixel Game Squad, Jason and Amanda from Secret Castle Toys and Games, and Max from Minato Max. I hope I have the opportunity to at least talk a little bit with each one of these people and discuss why they started YouTube and their journey. As my journey is early on, it's only 4 months in, I do enjoy putting together these videos and walking through my collection and why I collect games. I hope to be able to talk to them a little bit more about their journey with YouTube and just be able to gain some more insight in how I can make this channel better. So next, let's talk about some of the games that I'm going to be hunting for at Southeast Game Exchange. First up on the list is going to be to add some games to the Dreamcast collection. And that's going to be Sonic Adventures and Jet Grind Radio. Obviously classic titles that I don't currently have that I feel like I need to have for the Dreamcast. The second series that I'm going to be hunting for is 5 Switch titles that I feel like I need to collect now. And that's going to be Pokemon Scarlet, Hades, Metroid Dread, Celeste, and Hollow Knight. The third series is going to be 5 games from my childhood. And that's going to be Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo, Mario Kart 64, Duke Nukem 64, Home Alone, and Battletoads. And the fourth series is going to be to trade some games for PlayStation 1 games that I can add to my collection. And the games that I'm going to be hunting for is Road Trip Vacation 2012, Ape Escape, Metal Gear Solid, and Loaded. So while I'm there, I'll also be looking to add some Tips and Tricks magazines, as well as Nintendo Powers that I don't currently have, so I can feature them in future videos on this channel. And of course, I'll always be looking for super rare games or limited run games to add to the collection. It's going to be a fun time, so I hope to see you guys there. Hope you've got your tickets. And again, if you see me, make sure you say hello. Alright, so now that we've discussed what I'm looking forward to most and who I want to meet and the games that I want to pick up at Siege 2025, let's discuss some of the games that I recently added to my collection these last couple of weeks. It was games that I actually went to a local donation center. In my area, we have a place called CARM that gets and receives, much like your local Goodwills, they receive in donations. They sometimes have games, but they're usually your more common titles, games that you see everywhere that are cheap and inexpensive. But this time, I came across a game that was kind of rare and unexpected. I didn't think that this game really belonged in a donation center, and I think whoever donated it probably didn't know what it was or that it was on the rare side. So let's discuss the games and jump in and talk a little bit about why I picked these up and why I chose to add them to my collection. So let's start off with the NES games that I added to my collection. That first game is going to be Rad Racer. I paid $5.99 for this game. It's actually one that I didn't have in my collection, but I did want to go ahead and pick up. It's got a great label, as you can see, and really looking forward to playing this game. I remember playing this game as a kid and really enjoying it. It's a great classic racing game for the NES, so I thought I would pick this clean copy up and add it to my collection. The next game was actually Spy Hunter. Again, I paid $5.99 for this game. It was a game that I remember playing as a kid and really enjoyed, but haven't played recently because I didn't have it in my collection. Now that I've got it in my collection, I'm going to jump in and probably play this one at the top of the line. The next game was Bump and Jump. It was $5.99. This was a game that I hadn't heard of before, didn't know anything about, but because it's got such a clean copy of the label and really is clean overall, I wanted to pick this game up and see what it was all about. Have you played this game? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Alright, so now let's discuss that rare game that I picked up at the local donation center. It was sitting with all these other NES games on a shelf, not in a locked cabinet, and I thought when I saw this game, something kind of looked off. The label wasn't right, so I didn't know if it was just a reproduction or not. However, I did some research, looked into it, and believe that I really found a gem. And that game is going to be Impossible Mission 2, which is the SEI edition. I paid $15.99 for this game, so I paid a little bit more than the other games that I picked up. However, this is kind of a rare edition that you don't see every day. Apparently this game is worth about $32 on price charting right now, and does feel much heavier than your standard NES games. So I really want to jump in and play this and see what this game's all about. Do you have a copy of this? If you do, let me know in the comments section what your thoughts are on this game and this edition, and what makes it special to you. Alright, so now that we've discussed the NES games that I was able to add to my collection, let's talk a little bit about the other disc-based games that I added to my collection. Some of them are Wii, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Xbox 360 games, so I managed to get a pretty good mix, even though they're your base common titles. So that first game is going to be for the Wii, and that's going to be Ben 10 Omniverse 2. I paid $3.99 for this game. I have some of the other Ben 10 games for the Wii, so I wanted to round out my collection and add this game because of that. They do look kind of interesting, even though it's more of a kid style game. I do want to keep collecting these, so I wanted to make sure I picked this one up because again, it was only $3.99. The next game is also for the Wii, and that's going to be Monster Mayhem Build and Battle. This game looked kind of interesting based on the fact that it's got a kind of a claymation style character creation, and you get to fight with them. It's a fighting game and a game that I hadn't seen before, so I wanted to go ahead and pick this game up and add it to my collection because it's not one that I normally see in my local video game shops. So the next game is also for the Wii, and it's a Lego game. And it was Lego Indiana Jones 2: The Adventure Continues. I decided to add this game to my collection because I have some of the other Lego Indiana Jones games. Although they're not for the Wii, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and pick up this one so that I could give it a try and see how it compares to the other Lego Indiana Jones games on other consoles. Have you played this game? Let me know what your thoughts are. And do you think that this game is better than the original Indiana Jones Lego game, or is the second game much better game? The next game I picked up was actually for the PlayStation 2, and that's going to be Aqua Aqua. This is a game that is a puzzle-based game. Although I don't collect a whole lot of puzzle-based games, it's a game that I did want to add to my collection because it was cheap and inexpensive. It was a game that I thought I would give it a shot because it looked kind of interesting based on the back of the game. So the next two games are Xbox games, and they're actually games based on movies. So the first one is going to be The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Obviously this was a great movie, and when I came across this game and realized I didn't have it, I wanted to go ahead and add it to my collection. If you've played this game, let me know what your thoughts are. I think the combat system is really great, and so it's a game that I'll probably fully enjoy and one that I want to jump into right away. So the next game is also going to be an Xbox game, and that was Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith. This was a game that I don't remember playing as a kid, but I did want to add to my collection because I do like the Star Wars games. Oftentimes they're a lot of fun, and they can be hit or miss. I do realize that some of the recent Star Wars games aren't as fun, as enjoyable as some of the older ones, but I do remember playing the N64 version, not of this game obviously, but the N64 Star Wars games, and some of the original PlayStation games. So I wanted to give this one a shot and see how it compared. If you've played this game, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. And if you have a favorite Star Wars game, let me know in the comments as well, because I'm curious to see what you guys think about this game and the Star Wars games as a whole. So the next two games are actually going to be Xbox 360 games, and the first one is Lego Jurassic World. I picked up this game because I thought it looked kind of interesting based on the back. I haven't played this game before, even though I have a copy of it in my collection. It is one that I want to try out and see and kind of get a feel for and see if these Lego games really are great. And that last game is going to be a Star Wars game, and that's Star Wars The Force Unleashed. This is a game that I've heard a lot about and found pretty interesting, and I think it's probably one of the top tier of Star Wars games that have ever been made. So I really want to jump into this game and try it out and see what it looks like and how the mechanics work on it. So if you've played this game, let me know in the comment section what your favorite Star Wars game is. Alright, so to wrap up this video, obviously your donation centers can be hit or miss. You can find some really great classic games that can be cheap and inexpensive, but every now and then you hit big and you might find a rare one like Impossible Mission 2. I wasn't expecting to find this game when I went in, but when I came across it, I knew I needed to have it because something looked off. The label didn't quite look right, and so I thought I'd give it a shot and just take a risk. So for that, I'd highly recommend you go check out your local donation centers. It's a great way to add some cheap and inexpensive games to your collection. And you never know, you may come across some rare game that's cheap and inexpensive that's actually got some really great value. It's a great way to add some bulk to your collection and pick up quite a few games and not break the bank. So if you happen to see me out at Siege 2025, don't hesitate to say hello. I'll be out walking the floor looking to add some games to my collection. And until next time, happy gaming!